I know me and you on one accord.
We on one accord.
Always, man.
Right.
I can't imagine us not being on one accord.
That is right.
Yeah, but the topic that we're gonna deal with tonight is the evidence of worshiping the dragon.
Yes, sir.
Evidence. Last week we worshiped the dragon in ignorance.
Yes, sir.
So this week we're gonna give you the evidence. But we're going to do a little something different. Because first I was going to dig up all the verses and all the history. But you know what I said, Mom?
What did you say?
If you're really concerned about your salvation, you should go check this stuff out and see is it correct.
Right. Exactly.
You know, if I tell you something, that's what I did when I came here. Because to be honest, when I ran into this word, like I said, I was a Sunday preacher.
Right.
And when I ran into this word, the written word, I didn't believe it. But guess what I did? I sat down, I checked out everything the preacher said. And I could not find the preacher in a lie. I could not find him in a lie.
Right.
So guess what I had to do?
What did you have to do?
How they say, if you can't beat them, what you have to do?
You got to join them,
That's
brother.
what I did. I joined the truth. And that's all you got to do. So today we just going to show you the evidence of these things. And we're going to talk about each one of them to let you know if you are doing this in your church, then your church is part of the dragon. And we're not doing this to put nobody down.
None of that.
You know, because all this is out of love. Because I love you enough that I don't want you to be lost. And you know, and when you think about it, Mark, you know, what that flashlight doing on?
Go on, turn it off.
Maybe we'll flush it down. Let's see what happens. There we go. Yeah, it's working. But you know, the word of God has been taught wrong for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened now when you actually read the book, Mark, I grew up in the church. I had a big drug problem when I was a kid.
A drug problem?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know that.
My mama drugged me to Sunday school. She drugged me to that BTU.
Right,
she drugged me to everything they was having in church.
The evening service.
Evening service.
Yeah.
But I never knew the word of God.
That is right.
I was in my early 40s when I ran into Jesus of the Bible.
Right.
And this is what we're going to talk about today. The evidence that that your church is part of this church, what we call the whore that sets on many waters.
Right.
Which is the Catholic Church that rule over all the nation.
That's right.
All the nation. I mean all of them.
Right. And remember, like Brother Melvin said, we not knocking nobody. We're not trying to put nobody down. Remember what we said this show is about, getting on one accord.
One accord.
Because guess what? All this different doctrine has separated us.
That's separated. Why do we have so many? I'm telling you, it's amazing. You know what you need to do, especially if you're in Chicago. One day when you going down Racine, start at 87th Street and count to 55th Street. You got almost 30 churches. And they all teaching something different. But we all got one book.
Right.
Do you ever wonder why are we teaching something different?
Right.
So, Ma, let's put some of this evidence on the table.
Yes, sir.
And what you do, prove us wrong.
Right.
By going checking it out. Now one of the main evidence to let you know that you dealing with the Dragons Church is Sunday. Sunday. Right. That's the first day of the week. The first day. We're not gonna read a whole lot of scripture, but Ma, let's go to Leviticus. So. You need to write these scriptures down because they're not going to be on the screen today. But we gonna read a few of them and just let you show you that it's in the Bible.
Right. And brother, let me just say this: for those of you who are just watching us today, watch a couple of shows, the past two shows.
Go back and watch all.
Go back. You can go back and watch them all. But I'm saying to catch up and understand what we're really talking about, go back and watch the last two shows, and then you'll really be able to understand how did this all come together.
Right. So we dealing with Sunday, and and the big question that most people ask, do it really make a difference?
Right.
I go to church?
Exactly.
But one of the things all through this Bible, the Lord said, "Obey my voice."
Yes, sir.
And then another something that Mark that scared me is he said, you're going to be judged by the things that's written in this book.
In this book, yeah.
So when I stand before the Lord,
right.
I'm saying, well, Lord, I went to church every Sunday. I was faithful. Then he asked me a simple question, well, who told you to go on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
And then he going to say what he said in Matthew the 7th chapter.
Right.
I never knew you.
Well, what if he say, who told you to go on Saturday?
I'm going to say the book did.
There you go.
The balls. And we finna read what the balls said.
That's right.
We going to Leviticus 23, and we going to read this. Like I said, we gonna do a little more talking today than we ever did before, because this is a talk show.
That's right.
So just keep talking. So Leviticus 23, let's read that. Go ahead.
Start at 1, right?
Start at 1.
Okay, we on 1 accord.
Talk when you read now.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord.
Now, whose feasts are these, Mom?
The Lord, bro.
These are the Lord's feasts. You know, he said, these are the feasts of the Lord. Go ahead.
Which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations.
Convocation means simply a gathering, a meetings. That's all it means. Go ahead.
Even these are my feasts.
He making it plain that these are my feasts. Go ahead.
6 days shall work be done.
6 days you should work. I'm glad we didn't work but 5, though.
Right.
Go ahead.
But the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest.
It's the 7th day, not the first day.
7th
So
day.
and when I stand before the Lord and he asked me, say, well, why did you go to church on Saturday? I was because it's written.
Right.
Ain't that what Jesus did when the devil was trying to convince him to do things? He said, hey, it's written.
It's written.
And that's what you got to base your salvation on, what is written.
That is right.
What is written. So he said that on the 6th day is the Sabbath of rest. Go ahead.
And holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings.
In all your dwellings. It is the Sabbath of the Lord. Now, if you doing Sunday, that is not the Sabbath of the Lord.
No, sir.
I know that might be a hard something to break away from, but what are you concerned about? Your old traditional ways of being in the kingdom with God? Because everything is about the end.
That's right.
When it get to the end of this thing, am I going to be on the right side of the track?
That's right, bro.
In the right side of the track, sometimes you got to walk away from mama. You got to walk away, well, why don't we say mama now?
You can say it like
you know, you got to walk away from them.
Right.
And you got to seek the word of the Lord. But guess what? I need to warn you, it's some persecution when you try to do this thing right.
Mm-hmm.
But the reward is so great.
It's great, bro.
The reward is great. So that's the first something we wanted to, is Sunday. Now, the reason why we ain't reading the history about it, because that is your responsibility.
That's right.
You get your history book and go read about Sunday. If you care about your, because that's how I end up here, because I was, you really be trying to catch the preacher in a lie, but what you really be doing, you be seeking the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find out the truth, you be saying, wait a minute, this stuff is in the book.
It's in the book.
And the first day is in here, but it's not dealing with Sunday. Now, Ma, let's go to, we're going to read a couple of these. Let's go to Matthew. Because I want to show you reason why they say they changed the Sabbath day, but I just can't see nobody can do that. Because this God that we serve, what did he say? I don't change.
He changed not.
If he would change. So we're
going
to Matthew 28. We're going to Matthew 28, Ma. And this would happen. A lot of time they see this the first day of the week. I don't know why when they read that everybody know that's Sunday, but when all of a sudden, so when you tell them about it,
right?
Oh well, it don't. I know that's the first day.
Right.
But we're gonna read a little of this, and they say the reason why they changed because Jesus rose the first day of the week. Cause like I said, we want to explain this, be able to get through this, and our time gonna come over. So we got 10 spots we want to go to. So read Matthew 28 and verse 1. Read that.
In the end of the Sabbath.
Now what day come at the end of the Sabbath? He gonna tell you. Go ahead.
As it began to dawn toward the first day of the week.
Now, so it went from Saturday to Sunday.
Right.
Everybody understand that. Go ahead.
came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre.
Go ahead.
And behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven, and came and rolled back the stone from the door, and sat upon it. His countenance was like lightning, and his raiment white as snow.
Go ahead.
And for fear of him, the keepers did shake, and became as dead men.
And what does the angel say?
And the angel answered and said unto the women, Fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus, which was crucified.
Okay, go ahead.
He is not here.
So they got there at the dawn. You know what dawn is? That's right before the daylight.
That's right.
That's right before daylight. And Jesus was not there. He was gone. Go ahead and finish that verse.
For he is risen, as he said, Come ye, come see the place where the Lord lay.
So I don't see why we got to change the day that the Lord set up for us to hold a holy gathering on, because Jesus supposedly rose on the first day of the week.
Right.
You don't have to change that. If he rose the first day of the week, he rose the first day of the week. But Sunday come out of the Horse Church.
That's right, brother.
Because they are sun worshipers. Get your history book and go look it up.
That's right.
You know.
But they can Google that stuff now.
They can Google it.
They don't have to.
But you have to be careful, because guess what they say about Sunday now?
You're right.
They say Sunday is the day that's between what does Sunday come?
Saturday and Monday.
Oh, it's between Saturday and Monday. See, I was just checking you out. I know you ain't that good at math. I was trying to see how you But so that's what Google it now. That's what they say now. They used to say Sunday is the first day of the week, but I tell you, the devil is on his job.
You're right.
He's on his job, so you have to be careful. So just don't stop at one something. Read enough until you see what we're talking about.
That is
and
right.
then you'll see we're not making this stuff up.
That's right.
And then this other something, Mark. Let's move on to the next one, because we're gonna deal with a little more reading in this area later on. Let's deal with Christmas. That's the season just went by. Right. If your church is dealing with Christmas, this is evidence that you're dealing with the dragon.
That's right.
Because Christmas have absolutely nothing to do with Jesus.
Nothing at all.
It has something to do with the Jesus that the church that set up gave you, another Jesus.
That's right.
Let's just go read that, Mark. We're just gonna read that one verse. Because a lot of, just in case somebody new tonight, let's go to this first. Why did they put this in the Bible? 2 Corinthians 11 chapter. And we're going to read just one verse. You ain't going to even have to finish. I just want you to start that fourth verse. Because you know why I'm doing this? Because it's time for you to start seeking the Lord. It's time for you to start digging this stuff up if you are concerned about being in the kingdom.
That's right, bro.
So read that fourth verse. Go ahead.
For if he that cometh preaches another Jesus.
Now, why is Paul talking about another Jesus?
Right.
Because this whore that sets on many waters gave us another Jesus.
That is right.
The one that was born December the 25th. Mm-hmm. Go read Matthew the 2nd chapter. And it'll tell you that Herod was in the days of Jesus' birth, and he didn't have a clue when Jesus was born.
Right.
But then again, whether you want to believe it or not, Jesus' birth, he had to come, so he had to be born. True enough. But what's the important part about Jesus?
His death.
His dying. So we don't put no, if we gave all the emotion that we give for his birth, that we gave for his death, man, it'd be a whole different story.
Right.
Because this guy came and died for your sin.
That is right.
But we celebrating his birthday, but we don't know when he was born.
Mm-mm.
You know, wouldn't it be good, Mark? It was a national thing that everybody on their birthday, they got $1,000 from just out of the world. Wouldn't that be good?
Yeah, that'd be good.
And then I have a birthday every month, because y'all don't know when my birthday.
Right.
So I just be having it every month. I got another birthday.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know when Jesus' birthday is, brother. Just leave it alone. Because you dealing with paganism. And if you don't believe me, get you a history book. Either you can Google it. Y'all come on in my room. And see these things. It's on you if you really want to be serve the true and living God First, something you got to read his book, and second, you got to this stuff that I'm telling you, write it down. Go look it up. Christmas. Now here the next one, Ma, is Easter. Easter. Easter's in the Bible. Let's go look at it, Ma. It's Acts the 12th chapter, right?
12th chapter, bro.
Let's go look at it. But pay attention to the content the way it's written in. Let's read that, Ma. Pick it up at 1. Pick it up at verse 1. Go ahead.
Now about that time, Herod the king stretched forth his hand to vex certain of the church.
Now Herod was an Edomite. Well, if you don't know what an Edomite was, he was not a Jew.
That's right.
But the Romans made him king of the Jews. So guess what? Herod got to deal with what the Romans set up too.
Right.
You know. So go ahead.
And he killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. And because he saw it pleased the Jews.
Now, why did it please the Jews? Because these guys was kicking against Jesus.
Right,
go ahead.
Right. He proceeded further to take Peter also.
Now, he don't kill Peter, but check what time it is when he was doing this. Go ahead.
Then were the days of unleavened bread.
See, unleavened bread is one of the feast days of the Lord.
Right.
So now we know what time Israel or Peter and them is dealing with is the feast day. Now let's see what time it was for the Romans. Go ahead.
And when he had apprehended him, he put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quaternions of
quadrant. It look better. Just go ahead and talk.
Of soldiers to keep him, intending after Easter to bring him forth to the people.
Now you see, Easter is dealing with the Romans' time. Because if Easter was one of God's feast days, guess where it would be? It would be in Leviticus the 23rd chapter.
Right.
So if you want to know the Lord, then we read that these are my feast days.
That's right.
Go back there in the Leviticus the 23rd chapter and read Leviticus the 23rd chapter. The Lord got all his feast days in there. So if Easter don't fall in there, you know what you're supposed to do to Easter? Mark, you know what we supposed to do to Easter?
You gotta flush that, bro.
You got to flush it down.
I'm gonna flush it, brother.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna flush that.
Did we get Sunday down?
We need to flush Sunday.
You get Sunday.
And Christmas.
Sunday and Christmas. Let's go a double.
Let's go a double.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do Sunday, and then you do Christmas.
Okay. Christmas down.
Right.
Ooh, that feel good.
Don't it, though?
Man, when you flush down bad doctrine.
Feel good, don't it?
Man, like being baptized.
See, now you will stop saying that I gotta...
What's wrong with you?
It's like being baptized.
You're washing away your sin.
Right, I know what you're
You know.
saying. But now you can stop saying that I have a flushing problem because it feels good. Man.
Yeah, it's Well, I'm going to have Dr. Potter to check on you. He's still watching you.
Okay.
So, but back to this Easter thing. Go look in your history book because that's the only time you're going to find it in the pages of the Bible right here.
Right.
Go look in your history book and you're going to find that Easter deal with sacred temple prostitution.
That's right.
Oh, not Easter, man.
Easter, brother. That's terrible.
That's what it deal with. And we didn't even mention some of the ugly things they used to do on Christmas. People used to roam the street naked and sing Christmas carol. Go look that up.
Man. Hush your mouth.
And that's what you dealing with?
Man.
I'm talking about this is the stuff when you standing before God, you'll say, well, Lord, I kept it. Like this one guy I seen, he got so much stuff around his house, took him about 3 days to take it down. He out there in the yard just huffing and puffing, taking it down. Right. Old man. And I'm looking at it. I started to stop and say, you want me to help you take that stuff down? Yeah, young man, if you would help me out, you shouldn't have put it up. Because it don't represent nothing.
Right.
You know, don't represent nothing. Because we done wandered out of the way of understanding. Let's go to Proverbs 21.
21.
And let me show you what happened when you wander out of the way of understanding. This is what happened when you...
And I know that brother probably, you know...
He think he's doing that for the Lord.
Right.
Then when he stand before the Lord, and the Lord saying, I never knew you. No, I'm the guy that had the house decorated.
Right, that I wanted everybody to see.
Everybody to see. He's, you know what, when the people stopped by and told you how pretty it was, that was your reward.
Man.
That was your reward, brother.
Yeah.
And that electric bill that you got, that was the other part of that reward.
Yeah.
But this is what happened when you wander out of the way of understanding. Read that one verse, Mark. Proverbs 21:16. Go ahead.
The man that wanders out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
Shall remain in the congregation of the dead. Well, how can you be in a congregation that's dead? In other words, the reason why the congregation is dead, because they're not dealing with the spirit, which is the word.
Yes, sir.
That give life.
That's right.
See, as long as you dealing with stuff that's not God, that's dead stuff. And you going to keep being dead. Mark, I was out of order. I should have set this thing in order. I should have did Good Friday
Before
first.
Easter.
Yeah, now I hope they don't get all confused and get it mixed up. Because they have Good Friday because they said Jesus died Good Friday and rose early Sunday morning. Let's go to Matthew. What is it? Matthew 13. Ain't no Matthew 13. I'm having a memory lapse. Matthew 12. Matthew 12, Mark. Try to keep up. Is I moving too fast?
No, sir.
Okay. Matthew 12, Mark. Let's read when these Pharisees approached Jesus, but I want you to read that 37 verse because I see something there. Read that 37 verse. Read that, Mark.
For by thy words thou shalt be justified.
Go ahead.
And by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
By your words you're going to be condemned. See? But so that's why you better make sure you dealing with the Lord's word.
That's right.
You better make sure you dealing with the Lord's word. Now go on, let's kill this Good Friday. Go ahead, read the next verse.
Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee.
So give us a sign that you the Christ. Go ahead.
But he answered and said unto them, an evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign.
So if you seeking after a sign because you got to go somewhere and somebody got to lay it.
Right.
Don't lay my hand on you because I don't want you to fall out.
Right.
But that's the sign they be looking for. Maybe we should start doing it. Maybe they'll listen to the show.
Right.
But we'll be lying.
That's right.
We still be. He said, you looking for a sign. You want somebody to jump and shout and fall out, and then you believe the word of God. Why you just can't pick the book up, read this book, and look at the world, and you'll see how true it is.
That's right.
Go ahead and read.
And there shall no sign be given to it.
Ain't no sign going to be given, but he's still going to give you one something. Go ahead.
But the sign of the prophet Jonas.
He said, that's the only sign I'm going to give you, the sign of the prophet Jonas. And we messed that sign up. Go ahead.
For as Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth.
Now that's what he's about. Once he come off that cross, they're going to put him in the ground. He going to be there for 3 days and 3 nights. Can you get 3 days and 3 nights to Good Friday? From Good Friday to early Sunday morning. No, you can't do it. So why are you dealing with Good Friday? But if you go back, you'll see all this stuff come out of that horse church that sat on many waters. That is evidence that you dealing with the dragon.
That's right.
Because this stuff is not part of the Bible.
That's right.
Not part. But what did we read last week? Even though if a man declared to you, you ain't gonna believe it.
You ain't gonna believe it.
You ain't gonna believe me, but I'm gonna keep declaring it to you. Somebody gonna believe it. So if you can't get 3 days and 3 nights from good, I'm not gonna even do the math. I'm gonna let them do it. And as soon as you get 3 days and 3 nights from Good Friday evening to early Sunday morning, give me a call. Call me on this show. Say, I got it.
They're gonna say Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
But what is that? That's just 3.
But they say he rose on Sunday.
Right. You can't use that day. Plus he rose.
Because he was gone, wasn't he?
He was gone.
Yes,
and
sir.
then another something they're going to lead us in another something they do is sunrise service. Let's go and read some John 20, Mark. Let's read John 20. Right. See, if you doing all these things, it's evidence that you wishing the dragon.
That's right. And mind you, we only putting this stuff on the table to edify.
Edify.
That's it.
Because,
not to offend, to edify.
Because, Mark, I grew up in the church. I was 40-some years old before I realized that all this stuff that I learned in the church was an error.
Right. Yep.
It's just simply an error because what had happened, the dragon took the Bible completely off the table. And what we've been following is the precepts of man.
That's right, brother.
And when you follow the precept of man, you know, that's why this thing sounds so strange to you. When we go to funerals and do funerals and you actually put somebody in the ground, it's offensive to them.
That's right.
That's right. You trying to tell me mama ain't in heaven? No, mama ain't. She ain't in heaven. She in that box right there. If there ain't none mama, what we doing here?
That's right.
With her spirit. I said the only spirit in her is the air that she breathes in the thoughts of her mind. And if she got the word in that spirit.
One thing we went to memorial, and the brother Bowie put all these scriptures together, and one sister said, I don't care what he said, I talk to mama.
See, you rebellious. So you can talk to your mama already. All you want, she don't hear you. You know, y'all see people sitting out in the graveyard. And then that's another something, we scared to go in the graveyard. When the last time you got robbed by a dead person? You would go all the way around. You cut up through the graveyard and say, man, I'll be at home. All I do is cut up through there.
Yeah,
Will you do that?
Probably not.
When the last time a dead somebody?
Right, you're right.
When the last time you?
Right.
Man, I was in the graveyard.
We just was taught that spookery.
Right. I was in the graveyard. I got robbed.
Yeah.
Who robbed you?
Right.
Wasn't none of the dead people because the dead don't know nothing.
That's right, brother.
But it's the stuff that we done got that we really think is the word of God.
That is right.
And this is why we trying to, then you go out there and the police come out there. It was this guy right there, that grave right there. That's the guy that robbed me. Dig him up.
Put you in a
crazy,
yeah.
Right. But that's the thing that we deal with. But let's see what John think about you having sunrise service. Let's see what happened here. John 20:1. Read that, Mark. Go ahead.
The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early.
Hey, they come on the first day of the week. That's Sunday. Go ahead.
When it was yet dark.
When it was yet dark, the sun was out. Go ahead.
Until the
Wait a minute, can the sun be out if it's yet dark?
No, it's still dark.
So who is this Jesus that rose at sunrise then? That's got to be that other Jesus. Yes, they got there when it was yet dark. Wait a minute, let's see what Jesus was. Jesus, maybe they was there early and they just sat back, got a seat and waiting for Jesus to rise. Well, let's keep reading. Go ahead.
Unto the sepulchre and see of the stone taken away from the sepulchre.
Now she got there. Go ahead.
Then she runneth and cometh to Simon Peter and to the other disciples whom Jesus loved and said unto them.
What did she say?
They have taken away the Lord out of the sepulchre, and we know not where they have laid him. He was gone.
He was gone when they got there when it was dark.
Yep.
So why do you have sunrise service? Because you are doing the thing of the dragon.
That's right.
But Ma, is anything new under the sun?
No, ain't nothing new.
Let's go to Ezekiel 8 and let's see if anything new.
According to the book,
let's see. This sunrise service ain't something you just picked up 2 weeks ago. This something been going on all along. Let's go to Ezekiel 8, and we just gonna look at. See, you're supposed to do this. I am no smarter than nobody else. I'm not smarter than Mark.
That's right.
We're going to leave that alone. Ezekiel 8. Ezekiel 8, and we go pick it up at verse, because he's showing them something here. Let's pick it up at verse 14, Mark. Pick it up at that verse 14. Go ahead.
Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north.
Now, this is the church they had. Go ahead. It's towards the north. Go ahead.
And, behold, there sat women weeping for Tamar.
What is they reading for? Who is Tamar? That's Nimrod's son.
Yes, sir.
That's where you get that mother and child from. You better go do some reading. They in there reaping for Nimrod's son.
Right.
Go ahead.
Then said he unto me, Hast thou seen this, O son of man? Turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abomination.
Heck, this greater abomination than Tamar. Go ahead.
And he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house. And behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar,
What was happening?
were about 25 men.
It was 25 men there. What were they doing?
With their backs toward the temple of the Lord.
They had their back towards the temple of the Lord. What were they face?
And their faces toward the east.
Their face was towards the east. What were they doing?
And they worshiped the sun toward the east.
What is time of day when the sun is directly in the east? It's sunrise.
Sunrise.
It's sunrise.
Right.
This sun worshiping thing is nothing new.
That's right, bro.
We've told you in Revelation, the 12th chapter, that the devil have deceived the whole world.
Come on,
and we taking part in something that's right here.
That's right. This is the era, man, because we got
this
people having big
sunrise. Go out on the lake and wait for the sunrise. And they don't realize they calling what they doing.
Yeah, that's right.
They watching the sunrise.
That's right.
Because the people that put it forth, they worship the sun. That's why they day there of worship is Sun's Day.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking all this stuff it shouldn't be hidden from you. Because it's not in the pages of the Bible. These are all the precepts of man. Now let's look at something else that came along in these latter days. You don't have to keep the law no more.
Oh, yes.
Let me show you what Moses told you, if you don't hear this prophet, which is Jesus, what's going to happen to you? You're going to get cut off.
Cut off.
But do they believe it? Let's go. We're going to read one verse of Jesus' line. He said it. Because this is the red writing. Y'all know the red writing. That's Jesus. You know, if your Bible ain't got the red writing there, then you got a bootleg Bible. Go back and get some of your money back. John 14, Mark, read that one verse. This is Jesus talking here. Read that one verse. Go ahead.
14 and what, bro?
15.
All right. If you love me, keep my commandments.
I'm talking, do I have to interpret that?
No, sir.
If you love me, keep my commandments.
That's right.
So how do you let somebody tell you that you don't have to keep the commandments no more? They said, well, the Lord know we couldn't keep them. Then what you saying, you need to watch what you say.
That's right.
If you saying the Lord know you couldn't keep them, and then so you telling me that the Lord made an error.
Right. Come on in my room. Come on in the room.
You saying that the Lord made an error when he gave you the commandments.
That's right. That's right.
And then the thing is, what's so ugly about this thing, if he didn't mean for us to keep the commandment, then they don't even know all the things. We talking about this Dr. King Day. If the commandment, we didn't have to keep the commandment, we wouldn't even have a Dr. King Day.
That's right, bro.
And you probably say, well, why are you saying that? Because we wouldn't be fighting for our rights.
That's right.
Because once Israel, you do know Israel is that African-American brother. You know. And the reason why we fighting for all these things, because our forefathers wouldn't keep the law.
That's
and
right.
God called, go read Deuteronomy in the 28th chapter and see all that thing, all the stuff that he calls on us as a people.
That's right.
He said we're going to be hid away in prison house.
Yep.
Get up one Sunday morning and go to a prison house. Any day.
And see who the majority is.
And see when the minority become the majority. Just like the book said in Isaiah, the 42nd chapter, that Israel going to be hid away in prison. Now, you don't know you Israel? Mm-hmm. You still waiting for you to have your first president. Wait a minute, did we get Obama? Obama is not, Obama is a Hamite. You come out of Shem seed. All you got to do is read. Whoever your father, Obama's father was a Hamite.
That's right.
My father came out of Jacob, a Shemite.
Right.
So, but this is all this stuff that I know. Guess what? It ain't going to be here for, I tell you what you need to check out. In February, if you got time, check out the Israel of God. They're doing some black history.
That's right.
You should know your history. Then you'll know if we didn't supposed to keep this law, God did take this hammer up off of us.
That's some very good information. That series, that history series.
You need to check that out.
Need to check it out.
And then you'll know for sure you won't be walking around, well, the Lord know that law was too hard. If he knew it was too hard, why did he cause all this stuff on us?
Right, and gave us all that repercussion for not doing it.
Not doing it. And guess what? All the Dr. King died, we got civil rights. But why are we still fighting? Why ain't nobody never just open the door and say, you know what, y'all right. We just gonna open the Constitution up and everybody's equal now.
Right.
It ain't gonna happen.
No, sir.
You know, ain't gonna happen because the word of God said it ain't gonna happen. Because God done called some on us and he said he ain't gonna repent. You know, and it's on us. You know, you got people saying, Ma, we ain't under the curse now. Okay, you ain't under the curse now. I'll tell you what you do. Go rent you a new car. Don't get no old one. Drive way out to one of them suburbs. Get you a big Bible. Take one a little bigger than this one. Get that big old white Bible they had the film on. And go sit on the hood of your car way out in Barrington. And call me when the police have you face down on the ground.
Right.
How long you think it'll take?
As soon as you get out as soon as you pull up.
Say he had a weapon. He had a big white Bible.
Right.
He probably had they gonna come up with some reason.
Right.
Because you still in captivity, my brother.
That's right.
But don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it. Read the Bible and find out.
That's right.
That's what you do. I used to listen to that Black History series in February through the Israel of God. Man, let's go to one more something. This is another something you'll know that you're dealing with the Dragons Church. It's 3 in the Godhead. You know, the Trinity.
Right.
I can't read. I read all through the Bible. Some people think it's one and he got different position. He's one God. It ain't but one God, but it's 2 members in the Godhead.
Right.
Let me show you what I'm talking about. Ma, let's go to Isaiah 57.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to show you it's not one, but it's not 3. It's only 2. I'm telling you all this stuff, but you can check it out. And stop just saying, I'm not going to change. Then if you don't change, you just don't change. But you going to burn. And that's what scared me. When I look at the facts that I can end up in the lake of fire. And the thing is, and went to church all this time, paying all that tithe. I could have been somewhere else. One verse, Ma. Read that verse 15. Isaiah 57 and 15. Go ahead.
For thus said the high and lofty one, that inhabits eternity, whose name is holy.
Now, what man can claim his name is holy? Okay. This is God. Go ahead.
I dwell in a high and holy place.
Now, he dwelled in a high and holy place with them. Go ahead.
With him.
With them.
With him.
Them.
Him.
Them.
Him.
Him.
That's what the book say.
Okay, we go deal with
you thought I was going to say them?
I was trying to get you. I was shooting for you. So he dwelled in a high and holy place with him. Right. How many of you see that, Mark?
I see 2 right there.
I don't see but 2.
That's
Go ahead.
Also, that is of a contrite and humble spirit, to revive the spirit of the humble, and to revive the heart of the contrite one.
See, and that's what killed me. If you read this book here, you can see Jesus from Genesis all the way to Revelation. And then people, I don't know where this Jesus come from. What you should be saying, you don't know where the Father come from. Jesus is all through this Bible.
That's right.
You ain't never heard the Father's voice at any time. But that's the one you believe.
Right.
But Jesus, I can pick Jesus up from Genesis.
Right. And if it was a Trinity, if it was 3, why wouldn't it say them?
Right, he should be them. And this is the thing. You know why we just giving y'all snippets today? Because we putting your salvation in your hand.
Right.
In your hand. You go check this thing out. Right. You start searching and finding out the place where I can go where somebody's teaching the word of God.
Yes, sir.
That's when you start to do that, the Lord said, you seek what going to happen?
You're going to find.
You're going to find.
That is right.
Now, this other thing that people deal with is saved. You know, Ma, once they go to church, one day they say, and they ain't going to lose their salvation. That's all part of the dragon thing to deceive you. So if you think you got, you already saved, why would you be going to church? They be, Mark, say this prayer with me.
Right.
And you say that prayer, and they say, if you said that prayer, you save, and you can't lose your salvation.
Right.
Well, why I can read in this book that you can be blotted out? He said, whoever name is not found in the book of life, They ain't got nothing coming.
That's right.
But the lake of fire. So don't let the devil deceive you in thinking that you saved, because you saved, then why would you keep coming? My thing is, if I come to church in 1954
right.
and I confess that little prayer, why is I'm still going to church? I can't lose my salvation.
All right, you straight.
And you say I'm saved. I'm in because I confess Christ.
Right.
And I got baptized. So why would I keep coming to church if I already got it? And you know why I know you wouldn't do it? Because on your job, if your boss said, Mark, you make $150,000 a year, I'm gonna write you out the check the first day of work. How many days would you take off?
That's gonna be it.
That'll be your last day at work. That'll be your last day at work,
right.
The first day.
It's over.
So same thing. If you think you got salvation, why would I get up on them cold
right.
days and come out and listen to the church to tell me that I'm already saved?
Right.
Instead of, only reason you know why I get up on them cold days? Because I'm obedient to the Lord, because he said on the 7th day you're supposed to have a holy gathering.
That's right.
You know, and Jesus said in his own mouth. Let's go read it. Let's go to Matthew 24.
Yes, sir.
Let's read that, because it's right here. That's why I said I'm not going to give you a whole lot. If you want it, you got to dig it up. This is your salvation. Look what he said. I'm going to read that one verse of Matthew 24 and verse 13. Read that.
But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved.
So do I need to interpret that? If you stop before you get to the end, will you be saved according to this verse?
No, he said you got to.
What if you stop just a little bitty piece?
No, did you just see on the news where they had the marathon and the guy?
Oh, it come out of this.
No, they had the marathon.
Is this about the rabbit and the turtle?
It's similar to that.
Oh.
And the guy was cruising because he thought he had left everybody. And right when they got up to the line, this other guy just came and he lost the race.
He lost the race because he thought he was at the end. So the end is once you get into the kingdom.
Right.
When you at the end, when the Lord said, "Well done, my servant, come on into my room of my kingdom. Come on into my kingdom." You know. So that's another song. Now this is the one. We say this one down to the end, going to heaven. This is so big in the church.
Yes, it is.
It's so big in the world, but it's not a God thing. I said that at a funeral, boy, Mark, they got. You remember when I did that funeral? And I told them it's not a God thing, but the lady wanted to get the casket and leave with it.
Yeah.
I said, sister, but it's not in the pages of the Bible. I said, only somebody. Let's read this right quick. Let's go to Revelation, Mark, and let me show you something. The devil was cast out, and I'm gonna show you what his desire is. Just pick it up at verse 7.
Revelation is what?
Revelation 12 and verse 7. Go ahead.
And there was war in heaven.
Now this is in heaven. Go ahead.
Michael and his angels fought against the dragon,
which is the devil. Go ahead.
And the dragon fought in his angels.
Go ahead.
And prevailed not. Neither was there a place found anymore in heaven.
Now he can't go back to heaven no more. He done got kicked out.
Right.
Right by the seat of his pants. And Jesus, I beheld him fall from heaven like a bolt of lightning.
Yes, sir.
So that means he probably was hollering all the way down. Read the next part, we know. Let's get a little information on this guy. Go ahead.
And the great dragon was cast out.
Give me his name.
That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world.
He done deceived the whole world?
Mm-hmm.
Man, go ahead.
He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
You know, Mark, I grew up in the church. I never read this, and it never crossed my mind that this guy had deceived the whole world.
Right.
He done deceived the whole world, but he was cast out. Let's go to Isaiah 12. And let's show you what his desire is since he's been cast out. Since you want to go to heaven. This is this guy's desire. Isaiah 14. Did I say 14?
You said 12, but we're going to go to 14.
We're going to go to 14.
All right.
That all this come with age, Mom.
It's all good, bro. I got your back.
That's right. Good. But you ain't gonna have it longer. You ain't that much younger than me. Okay. Isaiah 14. And let's pick it up at verse 12. We gotta get some younger guys on this show. Isaiah 14 and 12. Go ahead.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer?
Who is old Lucifer? That is the dragon. We read how he fell. He got kicked out. Go ahead.
Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nation?
He should have weakened the nation because the whole nation is following him. Go ahead. All the nation are following this guy. Go ahead.
For thou hast said in thy heart.
Now he has said in his mind what?
I will ascend into heaven.
Ain't that's what all his servants want to go?
Mm-hmm.
That's why that lady got so mad at that funeral. She started to get up in the middle of it. Give me my body. Give me my mama's body.
Right.
So settle down. That's a pretty big casket. You can't push it. But that's what happened when you in the, what we say, when you went out of the way of understanding, what do you remain in?
You're in the congregation of the
You're
dead.
in the congregation of the dead. Because she got offended when I told her mother wasn't in heaven. I said, your mother's here in the casket. Right. All of her.
That is right, bro.
I'm talking, if she wasn't, why are we paying all this big money to these funeral homes? Mm-hmm. If it's that, oh, that's, yeah, she gone on, that's her shell. Mm-hmm. Ain't none of her shell, that's her. Just the same body she had that had air in it, it just don't have no air in it no more.
That is right, brother.
Go ahead and finish that. He said, I'm going to say that I will ascend in there. Go ahead.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
See, because this guy set his heart as the heart of God. He said he going to say, he got a throne. Who sat on the throne?
Right.
You know, go ahead.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
Go ahead.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
And he is being like the Most High because he got a whole world that's worshiping him.
Right.
Because this is the evidence. If you want to go to heaven, then you are worshiping the dragon. That is your desire. But Jesus don't have that desire. I can read from front to back. Jesus said, I long desire to be in Jerusalem.
That's right. That's right, brother.
He said, he said, I would. Let's go read it right quick. I think we got time. Let's go to Psalm 132. I'm talking, this is the stuff you have to read for you can get your own work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Don't let nobody else tell you about that. You do it. Pick it up at verse 11. Go ahead. Psalm 132 and verse 11. Go ahead.
The Lord hath sworn in truth unto David. He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of thy body will I set upon thy throne.
Now he gonna set up on David's throne. Right. Ain't that the first message that Gabriel gave Mary?
Yes, sir.
So you gonna have a son, he gonna be great. That's he gonna be the son of the highest, and the Lord God gonna give him the throne of his father David. Yes, he taught his flesh, his fleshly birth connection through David's lineage. Jesus came through David's lineage. And he said he gonna give you the throne of your father David. Go ahead. What verse was that?
That was 11.
Now look at the promise he gave to the people for the children. Go ahead.
If thy children will keep my covenant and my testimony.
Wait a minute. Mean to tell him God got a covenant, he ain't got just grace?
Right, no.
He got covenants you got to keep.
That's right, bro.
You got to keep these covenants. But if you, sometimes you go to church, you ain't even heard of no covenant.
No.
You under grace. All you got to do is believe.
Yes, sir.
What do you believe? Do you believe you got to keep these covenants?
Right.
But you don't even know about it. Go ahead.
My testimonies that I shall teach them. Their children shall also sit upon thy throne forevermore.
Go ahead.
For the Lord hath chosen Zion.
The Lord has chosen heaven.
Zion.
Where is Zion at? Go ahead.
It's on earth. He hath desired it for his habitation.
So he want to inhabit Zion. He toward Mount Zion. Go ahead.
This is my rest forever.
He going to rest there for how long?
Forever.
Why?
Here will I dwell.
Why is he going to dwell there?
For I have desired it.
Well, the Lord desired to live in Zion, and the devil desired to go back to heaven, and that's the one you talk about every week. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm going up to yonder. Once we get to heaven.
That's right.
Once 100 years later, when I meet you in heaven.
That's right. You see what understanding will do?
If you don't get no understanding, you're going to be in the congregation of the dead.
So we've been falling out to Satan.
This guy have deceived us because when I was the child, they used to tell, boy, you better be good if you want to go to heaven.
Right.
No, I don't want to go to heaven because that guy got kicked out of heaven. And this is the stuff that we done latched in on. And now when somebody come back and tell you stuff that we read it to you and you won't believe it, let me show you one more something. Let's show you one something. I got to show them.
And we really be thinking that because Master P said, is it a heaven for gangsters?
Right.
Is it a heaven for gangsters? No, Master P said that. It's for real.
That's before my time. That was after my time.
After your time.
Let's go into 1 Thessalonians. Is it second? Let's go into 2 Thessalonians. Because in the second chapter. Because I want to read you something else here. Because Paul was telling you about this, but don't know how to believe it. Let's pick it up at verse 3, Mark.
2 Thessalonians what?
2 and verse 3. Read that.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Let no man deceive you by any means, because the devil have deceived the whole world. Paul trying to tell you, don't stay in deception. Go ahead.
For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first.
Now he tried the coming of the Lord. He's the first that got to be a falling away first. And he started falling away from the truth. We done fell way away from the truth. But we don't know it. Go ahead.
And that man of sin be revealed.
That man of sin, go ahead.
The son of perdition.
See, he been revealed to those that got some understanding.
Right.
Because you would never think that guy that sat over there in Vatican City, I'm talking about that seat. I ain't talking about the particular one that's sitting in that seat. Because what he's talking about at the end, this is end time reading here. He said, man, of destruction. You wouldn't believe that the guy that sat over there in Vatican City. Mark, you know what's so good? I talked to a Italian brother that this side at the class. And he said he was born Catholic.
Right.
And he couldn't believe a brother challenged him on that, on all that stuff. And what he did, that's what I love about this brother. He said he tried his best to prove the teaching that we're teaching here was wrong.
Right. Right.
And guess how long he been going to the class now?
Long time.
2 years. 2 years.
It's been longer than that.
No, about 2. He said about 2.5 years. You know, what guy you talking about?
That same Italian.
Right, the one that we met at Stateville.
Been going here way longer than
that.
But anyway.
I'm just telling you what he said. Now, you want to you got his phone number, call him and ask. Well, you don't put pressure on me. I'm just telling you what the man told me.
Okay, brother, come on.
Let's get on one accord.
Yes,
brother.
sir. That's right, brother.
And do what I say.
That's right, brother.
So where we at? Because but what was so enchanting about this? This guy say he didn't believe this. He grew up in the Catholic Church, but now he say he threw all that stuff in the garbage can.
Praise the Lord.
I said, man, praise God, because guess what he was doing? Seeking salvation. And that's what this thing's all about. This thing ain't about color, ain't about black and white. It ain't about clothes you wear. This thing is about one something. Salvation. Salvation. That's the only reason I'm in this thing, for salvation. Go ahead, Mark, and finish reading that.
Who oppressive and exalted himself above all that is called God.
See, now he talking about that same guy we're reading about. Go ahead.
Or that is worshiped, so that he is as God, sitteth in the temple of God, now, showing himself that he is God.
See, this all end time. This is all talking about future stuff. He gonna do this.
Yep.
Look what Paul said. Read that next verse.
Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Go ahead. Let's skip down to verse 9. He gonna tell you about this guy. Go ahead.
Even him.
He talking about that one that gonna be sitting in the temple showing himself as God. What? Even him. Go ahead.
Whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
Do you understand what we reading here? Go ahead.
And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish.
Why?
Because they receive not the love of the truth.
We trying to tell you the truth, that you dealing with the dragon. If you dealing with Sunday, you dealing with Christmas, you dealing with Easter, you dealing with Good Friday, you dealing with sunrise service, you think the God don't have no law and covenants. And if you dealing with 3 in the Godhead, it's only 2. And if you think you're saved, brothers and sisters, you don't believe the truth.
Right.
Go ahead.
That they might be saved.
Go ahead.
And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie.
See, if you don't want to believe the truth, the Lord gonna send you a strong delusion that you'll say, it don't make no difference what day I go to church on Sunday. You can't tell me Jesus wasn't born December. Now you got a strong delusion. Because you can't read the stuff in the page of the Bible. Go ahead and finish that.
That they all might be damned.
Damn. They gonna be what?
They gonna be damned.
Damn.
Damn.
Ain't that? Go ahead.
Who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
See, you don't have pleasure in unrighteousness. Brothers and sisters, we done showed you all the things, the evidence. If this is what you dealing with in your church, you are worshiping the dragon.
That's right.
Now, like I said, we don't mean to offend nobody. And I'm going to tell you, it is a hard something. I ain't gonna even lie to you, because when I got this thing, I fought it, but I challenged what I was getting.
Right.
Man, I was getting off of work at 1 o'clock in the morning. I used to go home and put all this stuff down, get my little cassette player, because they had cassettes then. You remember them?
Mm-hmm.
How about 8-track?
I remember 8-track.
Okay, so with all that stuff, I used to go home and put it in, and I would check it out. I used to try to prove the preacher wrong, but in my trying to prove him wrong, I was also seeking the Lord, because I wanted to know the truth.
Praise the Lord.
So, brothers and sisters, if you like what we've been saying, what they supposed to do,
like it, share it, and post it.
And subscribe.
And yeah.
And you remember, subscribing is free. Just go and subscribe to this program. You know, we are here because we want to get on one accord. Hey, man, I hope everybody got some understanding.
I hope so, too.
You know, and
please
keep tuning in, because we are operating by the word of God. Things going to only get better. And more knowledge you get, you will not be in the congregation of the dead. Hey, man, I thank y'all for watching. Y'all come on in my room.
God bless.
Come on in my room.